Hi guys, welcome back. CompTIA Security Plus Domain 5 Risk Management Implementing a Network Policy Server Practice Lab. Lab requirements: Windows Server 2016 Domain Controls, Windows Server 2016 Member Servers, Windows 10 Domain Workstation. So this is what I used for this test environment. Task for the lab: we will see how to installing a network policy server, configuring a VPN server and client, viewing NPS logs. So first we will see installing a network policy server. Okay, let's go for the practice labs. So this is a domain control. So first we have to just make sure the domain control is always turned on. So and then we are going to perform the steps on the standalone server. Okay, the member server. So this is a member server. So I switch to member server. So we are going to perform the steps, install the network policy server. Okay, first we have to go to tools on the server manager and then Windows PowerShell. So now we are going to use this command. Okay, so let's enter. So please wait while the Windows features and its dependent components are installed. Takes few minutes. Yeah, it's going to complete. So you will, once it's completed, yeah, you can see here it successfully added the network policy and access server. So using this command, so you can add this the feature. Okay, so now you're going to just minimize this one. The first task we have completed. So now we are going to perform the configure the network policy services. Okay, on the same member server, standalone member server. So here, so for that we will enable the Radius client. Radius means, you know, right, the remote authentication daily user services. Radius, in short, in Radius. Okay, so Radius clients refer to network access servers like VPN and dial-up server. These two servers use the Radius protocol to communicate with the network policy server. So to configure NPS, we need to open the same the network policy on the server manager. So here you have to click tools and then NPS. You can see here network policy server. Okay, so it's taking time, few seconds maybe. Okay, there you go. So here you can see under these network policies, under the NPS logo, just navigate, right click this Radius client. Here, so just right click this Radius client and the press new button. There we have to enter the host name of domain control. So we are doing this just for remember this, we are doing this on standalone server, domain member server. So we need to enter this on the domain control, I mean the Active Directory, you know, the domain control host name. Okay, IP address. Okay, now we can just verify it and then resolve it. So just click OK. So here we have to enter the password. So you need to make sure to set up the new secret password. So now we have just click the advanced tab. So there you have to make sure enable this access request message must contain the message authenticator attribute. Okay, just proceed, click OK. So we have now successfully done the second, configuring the network policy service, and we are going to see configuring the network policy server logs. Okay, so for that, so on the same domain member server, so just click you have to open the network policy server, and there you have to click the accounting, then NPS change log. So you have to click this change log file properties. So here we can, so here says default settings, then we have to click the log file. There you have to change IAS legacy there, and then create a new log file daily. Okay, so okay, that's it. Apply. Okay, click OK, and then minimize. Okay, so we have now successfully done the third task, configuring the network policy server logs. So we are going to now prepare the VPN interface. So after configuring the network policy server and creating a radius client, you should now set up the VPN server, the domain control. Okay, so the VPN server normally have a secondary network interface to receiving incoming connection from VPN clients. So this interface communicate with the internet or other public network. The secondary network interface is configured by specifying a static IP address and preferred DNS servers. So in this task we will configure the secondary network interface on the domain control server. Okay, due to the compatibility issues with Hyper-V on the routing and remote access server, we will not be installing VPN service on the domain member server and the domain standalone server. So these two servers are running virtualization platform. So in my environment, in this environment, okay, in my test environment. So let's connect the domain control. So this is a domain member server, so we are going to standalone server. Okay, so we are going to connect the domain control server. So this is a domain control server. So here, so the server manager, we are going to same PowerShell. Here we're going to use the command to add the Ethernet and IP address. Okay, the following was not found. So IP version 6, there is a small mistake maybe. So there is a small typo, you can see here. So this is very important. Interface. Okay, done. Now it's added successfully. So normally you will not receive any confirmation if the command is completed successfully. So the net SH system's behavior is by design is okay. Now we are going to add the IP, DNS server IP. So this is a DNS. The parameter is incorrect. What parameter is incorrect? So again there is a small mistake here. Okay. Okay. It's taken. Okay, it's done successfully. So the command is the DNS is added successfully, and then static IP address for the Ethernet 2 and the DNS for the Ethernet 2. Okay, so now we have successfully done the fourth task. We are going to see how to install the remote access server. Okay, so let's go for it. For that, on the same domain control, so we are going to perform these steps. So now we are going to use this command to add the VPN routing feature. So let's see. Okay, so it started installing now. So let's wait for while it's installing. Installation is in progress. This will take few minutes. So still going on. Okay, 88%. So okay, this is done. So we have now added successfully using this command, RAS Connections Manager Administrations Kit. Okay, so now we have completed the fifth task. We are going to see now we are going to perform initialize, routing and remote access. So on the same domain control, so just minimize this one, the Windows browser, and then go to Server Manager, Tools, Routing and Remote Access. Okay, so here just right click on domain control, host name, so configure here, so routing and remote access server setup. So just click next. So in the configuring windows we have to select the first one, remote access dial-up or VPN. So this is the first one as the default one. Next. So here is remote. So there you have to click a VPN. So yeah, sometimes it shows gray. So what you need to do is you just close it, you just cancel and close it. You can just start again the configuration stuff. Okay, so anyway, so we can now click VPN and then proceed next. So here just select this is the one we added earlier. So Ethernet 2, just select it. So clear this checkbox. Enable security on the select interface by setting up static package. Just clear this feature, no need. Next. So in IP address assignment, so you should select this part from a specified range of address and then click next. So the address range assignment windows, so here the address range that are specified to assign IP address to remote VPN clients. So you guys notice here there is no IP address range is currently specified. So for that we need to click new button. I'm just going to enter the IP. Okay, now you can see here the number of address is 21. Okay, then click OK. And then next, here we are going to select yes, set up the server to work with the radius server. Next, so here the primary radius servers, we are going to enter the domain member server. So this is a domain control server, the standalone domain member server host name. And then what we created earlier on the domain member server, the shared secret, same password. Okay, so click finish. So it will take some time. Okay, it's just relying the DHCP appears. So you guys can see it's a routing and remote access started. It was initialized and then it's completed successfully now. You guys can see that IP version 4, IP version 6 general and the remote access. So okay, so it's done now. Sometime if you see the red icon here after the newly configured the routing or remote access, so you can just reboot your computer, the domain control. So you can also, if sometime so you can see here there's a notification. So the post deployment configurations RAS. Okay, so let's open the routing and remote access window. So here we're just going to configure. Just right click on the domain control and then properties. Here in the security tab, authentication provider, first you have to click this configure and edit and click these options. Always use message authenticator. Okay, so then click OK and then click OK. Okay, so now accounting provider, you have to click the configure. Here click edit and then click this option, select this option, send radius accounting on and accounting off message. Click OK and then click OK, then close it. Now apply, click OK. So just you can minimize this one. So open the PowerShell. So we're going to add the Windows firewall. Just go to, or else you can just open this here, Windows firewall advanced. Okay, here the inbound rules. Just scroll down a little bit. You can, or else you can just press the locate routing and remote access L2TP. Just scroll down. Okay, there you go. Okay, routing and remote access L2TP.in. So just right click here. There is the options, disable rules. Just disable and enable just for make sure. You no need to perform this, but just for double check. Disable and enable these two options, PPTP and L2TP. Okay, and then the last one is a GRE. So the same process, just disable and enable. Okay, so that's it for the sixth one, initialize routing and remote access. The last one, we are going to perform the last one, configure the network policy. So access to the VPN server in routing and remote access can be further verified with the use of network policy. Network policies may include properties such as time of day, security group memberships, type of VPN interface, and other conditions. So in this 7 steps, we are going to we will create a sample network policy for a security group. Okay, for that we need to connect the domain member server. This is a domain control. Okay, so we have done it on the domain control. So we have now connected the domain member server. So okay, now just go to the network policy server. So I was minimized, so I just opened that, maximize this one, and then so in the network policy server, here in the policy, so just expand these policies. Let's select these network policies. So just right click here, the new. Okay, so we are going to give a name, network policy. So then we have to select this type of network access server, click the remote access server, click next. Okay, so here we are going to add Windows workgroup. Select the Windows groups. Okay, then add. So here add groups. There I'm going to type the name I have, the group created already. So what are the groups you have on your organization, so you can just add it. This is like a global IT. So checks name. Yeah, just asking the password. Okay. Click OK. Click OK. And then next. So here ensure there's access granted. Sometime if it's this option, you need to switch to this option, access granted options. Okay, click next. So on the configure authentication method, it's a default setting, so no need to change anything. And then configure constants is just keep it default settings. So configure settings, okay, just keep it default settings. Complete network policies, here, okay, so everything is good now. So click finish button. So it displays here IT network policy at the top of the list of policies. Okay, so can just right click the connection to Microsoft and then disable this one, and then okay, that's it. Okay, so you can also disable this one, so no need. So only the IT network policies. Okay, so that's it guys for this one, the installing a network policies. We have done that all 7 steps. So let's go for the 2, configure a VPN server and client. So we are going to see one by one the 4 tasks. Configure the VPN. First let's see the configure the VPN ports. We will see that. So we will configure the VPN ports for daily access to VPN users using the NPS window. So for that we need to connect the domain control. So go back to the domain control server. Okay, just minimize. So ensuring that our routing and remote access windows is open. So just it's minimize, it just maximizes. So here the port properties. So here you have to select this hostname, domain hostname, properties. Oops, sorry. On the port you have to select. On the ports, just right click properties. So here you have to select the WAN mini port PPTP. WAN mini port PPTP, and then click configure. So in the configured device and this property, so in this window just make sure the 2 feature is already turned on. So I'm going to enter the IP address. Okay, so you need to specify the IP address for this, the phone number for the device. Okay, then click OK. So now we are going to choose the another one, L2TP configure. Just make sure that remote access connection inboard is selected, and then clear this one. So here enter the same IP address. Okay, click OK. So here just click the PPTP configure, remove this feature, so one, and then enter the IP address, same IP address. Okay, and then you have done these 2 things. Now apply, OK. So then click the domain controls host names, right click properties. So here IP version 4 tab. So here we need to switch to Ethernet 2. That was we created earlier. So just make sure with this, then click apply. The rest of them is the default settings. Click OK. So we have now completed the first task, configure the VPN ports. We are going to see the second steps, create a VPN client connections. Okay, so to create VPN client connections on Windows 10 device, so we have to connect that Windows 10. Okay, we have now connected the Windows 10 machine. So let's see that. Okay, so Windows 10. We are now going to open that Windows PowerShell. Run as administrator. Always run as administrator. Okay. So we're going to create a plabs or PPT connection to server IP address using this command. Okay, there is a small typo. I missed something. Yeah, I forgot to add this plabs. Okay. Okay, just enter. Okay, so it's now added successfully. So sometime you won't get this because this is by design. So there is no confirmation to success after creating the VPN connections, you know. So anyway, so we have now done the second task, second steps, created VPN client connections. So we are going to perform the view the details of the VPN connections. Okay, after setting up the connections, you can view the details of the connection setup between a VPN client and a VPN server. So these details include the name of the connections, the IP address of the server, the tunnel type used, the authentication methods, and the current status of the connection. So we will view the details of the plabs what we added here right. So we will view the details of the plabs VPN connections from the Windows 10 clients to domain control server. For that, just going to use this command. Get icon VPN connections. Enter. So you guys can see here the details about the plabs PPTP connections are displayed. So the name, server address. So notice the details for the plabs PPTP, IP address, everything. So yeah. So and then, as mentioned is a one previous steps, you need to disable the settings that user defaults gateway on the remote network settings. Okay. To set the VPN split tunneling or to true, just use this command. True. I need to enter this. Okay, so it's now added successfully. Sorry, it's disabled the settings successfully. So you will not get a successful confirmation message after running the command in the previous step. Normally this is by design. So anyway, so we have done successfully viewing the details of the VPN connections. We are going to see the test the VPN connection. Okay, so on the Windows same Windows 10 machine workstations, we can now just go to here, just right click, open network sharing center. So here, change adapter settings. Okay, so just right click, here you can just click connect. Okay, in the home, you can just select the PLabs connect. The password we set earlier, the username of your workstations. You need to always enter the domain name with username. Okay, is connected. So after a few seconds, so the PLabs PPTP indicates its connected status. This indicates that the Lisa's card is compliant with the policy set in NPS, that is running domain member server. Okay, so let's say let's just disconnect this. We can now click the connect button once again. Just use the different name, the username. This is a different security group. You can see here. So what we created, the group, the global IT security group. So we used that username. So it's connected successfully. The user Jan Ragus is successfully signed in the VPN servers. Okay, let's disconnect. Okay, we will now try to dial in as a user who is not a member of the global IT group. So this, let's click connect again. So this guy is not a member in a global IT group. Let's try this. So you can see here, cannot connect, the error message. The connection was prevented because of the policy configured on your RAS VPN server. Specifically, the authentication method used by the server to verify your username and password may not match the authentication method configured in your connections profile. Please contact your administrator of the RAS server, notify them error. Okay, that's it. So that's it, guys. We have done successfully the 4 steps under the task 2. So now we're going to see the last one, task 3, view the NPS logs. For that, so the 4 steps we are going to perform here. So first we will see examine the NPS log. Okay, so normally NPS logs provides information about the user authentications request accept message access reject message, and accounting request and response during a VPN sessions between a server and clients. So in this task, we will view the network policy logs and interpret them using a third-party NPS logs reader, since the Windows Server 2016 doesn't include a native tools for reading the content of NPS logs file. Okay, so we will just examine the NPS logs that was created when member of a global IT group dialed in the VPN server. For that, we need to connect a standalone domain member server. Okay, so just click the File Explorer, so C drive, Windows folder, System32, and then log files. You can see here the log files. Just double click. So now we can look for the yes, the log files here. Okay, so this is log files. This is year, month, date. So which means is a 20th 2020 11 and then 7, the month, sorry, days. Okay, so you can see here the 0 KB. So I'm going to just refresh. So now you can see here 6 KB, right? So just double click. You can now see here the logs what we performed to log in. So the history of logs here. Okay, so this is sometimes it's not good to see, so the users, if let's say if there is 1,000 or 2,000 logs, so how you guys view this is something crazy. So we are going to download the IAS viewer. There's a software, so just Google it. You can get it from outside the third-party websites. IAS viewer, viewers, yes. You can also see here. So okay. So I have already downloaded. So the first task we have successfully completed. So now we are going to see install the NPS log reader. Okay, so for that, next, so here this default settings. Okay, just default settings. Install it, finish. Okay. Now we can see here IAS log viewer. Just double click. Okay, so we have now successfully completed the second, installed the NPS log reader. Now we are going to see how to read the NPS log using the third-party readers. Okay, so by default it's detected, the IAS log viewer has detected the newly created logs. You can also see here the log files in 2013 what I showed before. just click OK. So now you can get the new window. So the Connect tab, the summary is displays of the successful and failed VPN connections that was previously attempted. So you can view the account name that signed in on earlier. So you can also expand the users, So now you can just right click the John Summer, right click, item details. So you can see here the IP address information. Okay. So here you can see all the details here. You can also expand here, resize. So properties, yeah, record count. Okay. So now, click on the record tab. Same, the John Summer. You can see here the details. Okay. So we have now successfully done the third steps. Read the NPS logs using the third-party readers. Now we are going to see the fourth one. Export NPS templates. Okay. If there is more than one network policy, you can reuse template create on existing NPS by exporting the template to your file. Okay. So on the same domain member server window, just minimize this one. Okay. Close it. Okay. Go back to the network policy window. I closed already. Okay, I'm going to reopen. Close network policy server. It's opening. Okay, just right click on the template management, right click. So here the export template to your file. Okay, here just going to enter the name, the P Labs NPS. Just click save it. Okay, so now we have successfully exported the logs. So that's it guys for this video. We have now successfully completed all 4 tasks. So we can see here all 3 tasks here. So task for the labs, what we have done: installing a network policy server, configuring a VPN server and client, and viewing NPS logs. Okay, so that's it guys. Please subscribe my channel if you haven't. Press the bell button to get more update. I will post more practice lab later on video. Share the video to your friends if you like. Bye bye.